Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome into GarageBand Weekly here on Studio Live today. My name is Pete Johns, and for the next, half an hour to an hour, we'll be talking about all things GarageBand because, yes, this is the only GarageBand show online, at least as far as I know. I haven't come across another one yet, so maybe there is. Maybe there is. Are you running a GarageBand show out there I don't know about? Please let me know. On this week's show, we'll be diving into some news and notes. We'll be answering your questions, and we'll be talking about backing up and storing your GarageBand projects as zip files. Why do you need to use a zip file for your GarageBand projects? I'll tell you all about that as we get to that. Let's dive in, shall we, with some news and notes that have been happening over the last week. And if you're not updated at this point to iOS and iPadOS 18.4, you probably can be. Apple are now testing out the beta versions of 18.5 for both iPadOS and iOS, as well as macOS Sequoia 15.5. Are there any major changes coming to these? No, not really. So if you're already on 18.4, there's no rush. And look, I don't recommend doing the beta thing. If you want to, you can. You can dive in and check out the beta versions. And if you don't know how to do that, if you go into your settings, so let's jump over to the iPad. If you go to your settings and you go to software update, you can see here we've got beta updates. And I leave that off. But if you go to the iPadOS 18 developer beta or beta, or Booter or better. I've heard it said every way, maybe not Booter. Then you can go and check out the newer versions and be the guinea pig. Me, personally, I don't like to be a guinea pig. I like to let others. I'll be your guinea pig for some things, but not for everything, and definitely not for your iOS and your iPad OS, because I use my iPad and my iPhone every single day. So I need consistency. I need it to work more than I need the shiny new features with it. So just a heads up that the beta versions are there if you need them. Guess what? iPhone is the number one selling smartphone. Now you might be thinking, yeah, I know that's been the case for many years, but the interesting thing is it's the first time ever that it's the best selling smartphone in quarter one. So between January and the end of March, which is Q1 in the US, it's Q3 here in Australia. Don't get me started on financial years versus fiscal years. It makes zero sense. So the reason is the iPhone 16e. So despite the fact that, the iPhone 16e hadn't been selling like hotcakes or any sort of cakes really, it is actually adding to the numbers. So because they were still selling plenty of 16 Pros and 16s and 16 Pluses, they were also selling the 16e now, which is just adding to the overall sales and helping pad those Apple numbers. And given the current state of the economy and society and government intervention and tariffs and all the other stuff going on, any good news that Apple can get at the moment is a good thing. Related to that is also the tariff stuff. So, I mean, depending when you're watching, I haven't even checked the news today, so it could be completely different. You would have heard that, depending again what day you were listening in on, that tariffs on products coming out of China were either 50%, 100%, 150%, 212%. I don't know. Who knows what the latest version is, but significant tariffs. Now, that's been a little bit rolled back because there's talk that, oh, yeah, but not electronics. Of course, not electronics. Oh, and not pharmaceuticals. Of course, not pharmaceuticals. So I think there's a bit of panic buttons being pushed around tariffing when suddenly you realize that if an iPhone and an iPad and a Mac and a PC and the Nintendo Switch 2, which is its whole separate thing, not related to this show, but another thing people have been hoping would be released and apparently now is in jeopardy around all these tariffs. Yeah, apparently they may be pulled out of it's yeah. Don't get me started. I'll get up on my soapbox and it won't be relevant to this. But nice to see that, hey, iPhone is best. And it's pretty funny though, because whenever I talk to people about iOS and iPhone, then they're like, oh no, Android is best. I'm like, well, hey, at least we have a duopoly. At least it's not a monopoly. It might be a duopoly because, let's be honest, if you get a smartphone in 2025, it's going to be Android or it's going to be iOS. There's really, really no third place. Is Nokia still making it? What was that OS that they used to use, or the Palm OS that we had back in the day? Yeah. Update on, yeah, check back tomorrow. It'll be different again. Let's say good day to folks who are here live before we get to our the rest of our news and notes here. So we'll say good day to Trevor Bear. We'll say good day to our friend Thomas Christ and wonderful moderator. Hello to Michele Scarpellini. Joe and Barry Glenn is here, and so is Joel Crouch. Studio 6+1. I like your little logo there. Very cute little cow going on. Very nice indeed. Hello, Les Coro. Hope you are well. And Al Davis Music. If you do have any questions or comments or anything that you would like to contribute, we are interactive around here. So feel free to put a big Q in front of your comment, and I will know that it is a question, and you can go ahead and ask your question, and I will try to answer it. Or more likely, I will handball it to our wonderful group of GarageBand and music creation experts who hang out here on the channel and on the show. And if you're on the replay, by the way, do put your comments down in the comment section. I was about a day and a half behind, but I spent a good hour just catching up and cleaning up comments. So I'm now caught up, except for the last 8 hours while I was sleeping. I'm not caught up on those comments. So I will catch up again today. But yeah, if you do have any comments or questions ever, feel free to drop those in the comment section below. And also, yeah, hit the thumbs up button. Why not? I know. A YouTuber asking you to like, comment, and subscribe. You never hear that, do you? No. By the way, another note here for those watching live. If things go pear-shaped, there's apparently an outage. My internet is being having something done to it, some maintenance today. And it said it could be any time between 8 and 3 p.m. So 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. And it's past 8 a.m. now. So if I suddenly go fuzzy or go away, I will try to return on the mobile data. But if it doesn't happen, if I just disappear and I'm gone forever, then that is why. So keep that in mind. Update. Hardware and software update. I will be testing these out this week. These are the AirPods Max USB-C. And you might be saying, Johns, those things have been out for a long time. And you're right, they have. They've been out for over 6 months. But there is a new thing. There is new lossless audio that Apple have been touting, and they sent me these to test out. I've got them on loan, so they're not mine, but I'm testing them out at the moment because you can now connect them, or you've always been able to connect them via USB-C or via USB-C to a 3.5-inch jack. And apparently now they have very highly low latency monitoring, as well as 48 kilohertz 24-bit stereo sound. In fact, spatial audio sound. So I will be checking these out through the week. Let's have a look inside. I did try these when I had the Lightning version. Am I honestly going to sit here and tell you that you should buy $500-$600 headphones? No, they're a luxury item. 100% a luxury item, but if they can be used for everything, which is kind of the promise of this, that you can plug them into your mixing desk via a 3.5mm jack and you'll still get the best quality, or you can plug them in digitally. I could actually see these being useful on the go with my MacBook. Now that I've got a MacBook Pro, I could be actually tempted to go and check these out and hook them up via USB-C and yeah, and see if they do the thing. But well, their bits have fallen out everywhere. But again, they are very, very nice headphones. Again, I use the Lightning version. They're overkill. They're not exactly home studio headphones because you wouldn't be tracking with these necessarily. But I'm going to try it. I'm going to try tracking with them. I'm going to try using them as reference monitors. I'm going to try replacing the good old Sennheiser HD 280 Pros and see if these can do an amicable job of that. Yes, you heard right. I'm going to see if I can replace $100 headphones with $500 headphones. So if you do have our AirPods, whether they're these or the AirPods Pro, the in-ear pods, there are firmware updates at the moment for those new features being added, so you can go and see. Yes, you can absolutely let me be your guinea pig on that one because look, I've done things before, like I said, there is no way I'm paying $500 for the smart keyboard, the Magic Keyboard for my iPad, and there's no way I'm paying $200 for the genuine Apple keyboard. And then I use them, and I love them enough, and they are enough part of my workflow that it's worth it. Is it worth it for everyone? No, absolutely not. I don't think so. But we'll find out. So we'll be testing those over. Can I turn them on? I don't actually know. I can't remember how to actually turn these on. So I'll be doing that through the week, and I'll report back next week to let you know what they are like. Hello, Jade Star. I hope you are doing well. That was a weird word. So that's the news and notes. Is it a quiet time in the world of Apple and GarageBand? Yeah, the only other thing I'll mention is I'm getting more and more emails and comments and notes about GarageBand iOS bugs. I've talked last week and in recent videos about the auto scrolling bug that we have and a few other little bugs that are in GarageBand. So yeah, it's definitely something that many people are noticing. That unlike previous versions that seemed pretty stable, there are a few more bugs in the old GarageBand current version. Which, if you haven't updated, maybe it's a reason to stay on the last version. A lot of people are saying to me, "Oh, my device doesn't support iOS 18, so I don't have this version, and I got none of the bugs." And I'm like, "Yeah, that would actually probably be a good thing indeed." Alrighty, we've got a few topics to talk about, and we will be answering your questions as we go through here as well. So we do have a question: how do you deal with writer's block? Wow. What a simple and easy question to answer. If anyone has ideas that is here live, feel free to throw your ideas and suggestions here in the comments as we go through. But there's a couple of things that I've talked about before, and you've probably heard them before if you've been around the channel. I love doing speed thinking. Speed thinking exercises are highly underrated, and they work really well. So for lyrics and chord sequences, for lyrics to start with, yeah, use speed thinking. So what's speed thinking all about? You put 60 seconds on the clock, and you get a theme or a topic. So let's say you're writing a song, and it's about driving and you need words. You got writer's block. You're like, I was driving in my car. I was going very far. And you're like, oh, this is just terrible. So how do you find those words and those phrases and things that might work with it? What I like to do is hit your timer for 60 seconds and you go, right, car, driving, road, dotted lines, nighttime, outrun, video games, racing, helmets, seat belts, seats, trunk, bonnet, engine, revving, driving, straight, cornering, turning the corner, spinning out, flipping over, going off the road, intersection, police chase, traffic lights, speeding, speed camera, drink driving, drunk drivers, swerving all over the road. So, and then you get your end of your 60 seconds, and what have you got? You got a whole bunch of cool words that you can then work in to the phrases. You can be like, oh, okay, so maybe this needs to be a song about the tension of the traffic lights, of like of someone inside their own head, and they're sitting there and they're like, I'm sitting at the traffic lights, and when I hit the gas, where will I go? Will it be a blast? Maybe not that. The other thing you can do is write really bad stuff. Like try and write the worst thing you possibly can. Write really cheesy, really lame ass stuff. And you'll be surprised how often it ends up sounding just like a Red Hot Chili Peppers tune. No, you'll be surprised how often there's parts in there. Like some of it won't be bad. Like that thing I said, yeah, let's go driving in my car. I hope we go really far. Maybe we will find a bar. Everyone should watch Jade Star. I mean, yeah, that might not be it. But then you go, oh, maybe we should find a bar. So maybe it's a song about that. Maybe it's an anti-drink driving song. It's like, I was driving to the bar when I decided to catch an Uber. You know what I mean? So it's all about just farming those ideas and getting them out of your subconscious. Because the front of your mind, your conscious mind, it's really hard to tell your conscious mind to think differently because you just want it to be good and you get stuck. That's where the block comes from. It's the block is you and you having that mental block by saying, I don't know what to write here. Instead of saying, let's get my subconscious and just spew out ideas and get weird stuff going on. So that's what I do for lyrics. For chord sequences, I mean, there's lots of cool apps out there. Things like Scalar, I think, is one. I don't use these, but I know Jade Star, speaking of Jade Star, has covered a lot of these. So there's a lot of different chord things. You can also get MIDI packs that have chords built in. Start experimenting. Like, just go onto Google and just type common rock music or pop music or whatever style you want, chord sequences, and just workshop those. The other thing I like to do is start on a chord that I don't, or start in a key that I usually don't use. So I sit around E major and G major for a lot of my stuff. So I might go like C sharp minor. Like, let's just try something in C sharp minor. I mean, it might be really hard to play on guitar if you're a guitarist, but if you're using virtual instruments and the like, you can transpose things and try different things like that. So yeah, there's different things you can do and that you can learn about. The other thing is to look at rhythms. So I was part of a song, I still am, I just have been very lapsed with it, a songwriting group called the Song, what is it called? Song Spark. And they have an idea, and they have like a prompt every month, and one of the prompts was to work a song around a particular rhythm, and I forget the name of the rhythm. Someone may know it in the chat, but it's the one that goes da 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 da. And I actually wrote my song "What You Deserve," which is dun da 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 da. And eventually I removed that beat, and it was just the guitar riff driving it. But giving yourself limitations like that, saying it has to be around this particular rhythm structure, that can work as well. So a few different ideas there that might get you going. But the most important thing is to try to switch off that critical part of your brain. Because again, no one has to hear that. You don't have to do it on a live show in front of people. You can just do it by yourself, and no one else has to ever hear or see or know about any of your brainstorming stuff, any of your speed thinking, any of your really bad writing. They can just be for you. So hopefully that gives you some places to start. Hello, Pause and Guitars. G'day to the wonderful Dan Eckberg. Joe and Barry Glenn, I think I said g'day to you as well. Hello, Dell. Hope you are well. Hope you are well, Dell. 92 Fahrenheit, I hope. Celsius, you'd be in trouble. Yeah, and not to force it. Like, that's the thing. The more you try to force it, the less it's going to actually come out. Dan says, I always find inspiration for guitar parts when I'm trying to learn a song. Yeah, that's the other thing. Play some cover songs. In fact, I think I did a podcast, got to be 6 months ago or maybe longer, which was exactly this, like 10 ideas for writer's block. And one of them is to just play cover songs. And you might be thinking, but then aren't I going to just make something really derivative? Guess what? There's 12 notes in the Western scale, folks. You're going to make something derivative anyway. There's only I think basically every melody, every harmony, every rhythm, every chord progression possible in Western scales has been used somewhere by someone. So yes, your song is going to sound like someone else's something, but that's okay. It's not a problem. Thomas Christ says, I just find I have to be in the right mindset for inspiration. Sometimes it's just not going to happen, and that's okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mentioned this the other day where I did a podcast last week about the fact that we should all say no a lot more often. And one of the things I said that you should say no to is today. Sometimes today is just not the day. Sometimes it is, and sometimes you should harness that, but sometimes you sit down and it just doesn't happen. It's just not working for you. And what do you do on those days? You go do something else. I mean, sometimes if it's your job, so if I'm doing a live show, hey, guess what? I just have to power through. But you don't. If you're doing this for pleasure and it's not pleasurable and you're not getting value and you're not finding a way to actually get something productive done, guess what? Step away. You don't have to be doing it today. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. And it doesn't mean you should always procrastinate and put things off, but you'll know yourself and you'll know that some days, nah, just not feeling it. Can't do it. G'day, Barry Glenn as well. I hope you are doing well, my friend. I had someone ask me this week a question, and I thought this is what we would go into, and I'll at least show this because I think it is going to be a short show today. If you do have any other questions, though, feel free to ask them, and I will definitely get to anything that you have. But I wanted to cover this because Someone asked me, how do you back up your GarageBand projects or anything on your iPad? They said, I've heard you talk about zipping and the importance of zipping things up. How do you actually keep things organized and keep things actually backed up? Well, here's what you do. See, here's what I do. So I'm here I have a folder structure set up so that every song has its own folder. So when I'm working on a song, once it's completed, it goes in my completed folder, not surprisingly. And for instance, this song 1% is in here. And what I tend to do is, if you've watched me work before, I use version control. So you'll see I've got 1%, then I've got version 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is the last version. I then create a second folder which has my final mix as well as the final project. So if we open this folder, you can see there is the number 5, 1%, and there is my final mix. There's the actual final file. So that just gives you, in my view, a good way to keep things nice and organized. You'll notice in here, oops, that's not the right one. Is it this one? I've got two versions of it. Okay, I've duplicated it at some point. Probably, yeah, it was today. All right, let's delete that. When I was setting this up, I duplicated that. And you can also see here that I've got this zip file. So there's two ways that you can do this when you finish with a project and you want to keep it. You could zip up all of these. So I've got 5 different versions in this version 6 test version here. So if I wanted to keep all of my versions, then yep, I can do that. What I need to do is hit select, tap on all of these files, tap, 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 and then in the bottom right, tap on more, and then hit the compress button here. And what this will do is it'll create a zip file with all of those project files in it together. And this is a good way if you want to keep everything and you don't want to lose. So, and the reason for that is, let's say you did something in version 3, and then in version 4 you deleted it. And then version 5 was the final one. And then you're like, oh, I really liked that solo I did in version 3. I wish I could go back and resurrect it. Well, guess what? You can if you keep your project files. Now, this is a pretty big one, so it's taking a while there to zip all these up because it's having to take all of these project files and zip them. While we wait for it to zip, why should you zip it up? Why can't you just copy this project file directly to an external hard drive or directly to Google Drive or Dropbox or anywhere? It's because those platforms often don't support native Apple file formats. So the .band format, which is Apple's native GarageBand format, is not supported outside of Apple ecosystems. So that just means that zipping them up means you zip them up, you copy that zip file, and then you copy that zip file back to your Apple stuff, you unzip it, and everything's still intact. If you've ever tried to back up or copy a GarageBand project and got this is corrupted, file's missing, file is bad, it's probably because you've tried to copy the actual file instead of zipping it up like this. So now that we've got our zip there, I rename it. So I tap and hold it because it'll always call it archive. So we'll rename it and we'll say 1% and then complete versions projects. And there is our file. And now we can actually copy that wherever we like. So for instance, I have a USB drive plugged in here. Yes, you can plug in USB drives to your iPad or your iPhone. Now, the one that I'm using here, I'll just unplug it for the moment. You probably shouldn't do that. Actually, you can do it. You shouldn't do that on Macs. You need to eject them. On iOS, for some reason, it's fine. So I've got this one. This is the SanDisk dual drive. So this has, on one side, I'll just zoom in on me so you can see, this has USB-C, so that can plug directly in if you're not using any sort of adapter, or if, like me, you've got a USB adapter plugged in, you can use the USB side. So this makes this one really super duper handy. So if we come back to the iPad, we reach around and plug that back in, you'll see it pops back up here as no name. And now what we can do is actually copy this whole zip file. So we've got completed there. We'll go to 1%. Here is all of those projects backed up into this one zip file. It's 1.831 gigabytes. So maybe we'll do a smaller one. So we'll come into here and instead we will do this. You can actually, if we tap and hold on this one, we can compress a folder. So this folder has these two items in it, the WAV file and the final project file. So to create a zip file out of that, we just tap and hold on it and tap compress. And that will zip this one up. And this time we'll have a much smaller zip file with just that final project version and the final mix the final exported mix. So now what we need to do is copy this one by tapping on it, hitting copy. We can then go to our drive. Let's create a new folder for this one. We'll call the folder 1%, and then we'll tap it, and then we'll paste it. So we'll tap and hit paste. And that's going to copy that over onto this USB drive. And guess what? We have now, as soon as that goes all the way around, successfully made sure that we have a backup of that file. Now, is a backup still a backup if we then delete it from our iPad? No, because that's been copied across now. We can pull out this USB drive, that'll go away, and now the project is safely stored on this USB drive. But remember, one copy of something is not backed up. One copy of something is one copy of something. It might as well still be on my iPad. If you're just going to put it on a USB drive and then delete it from your iPad, it's no good. So what's the other thing you do? You put it onto a cloud platform. Let's show you how to do that. So let's go back to the iPad. And what I like to do, you can access your cloud platforms, things like Dropbox and Google Drive and OneDrive from within files. I tend to get more success uploading it using the actual app. So for this one, let's go to the Google Drive app. We'll come down and type in Drive. Fire up the Google Drive app, and look, here's what I prepared earlier that's also 1%. So this is where I've shared it before. So you can see I've actually added it there. So if I was wanting to do this, I would just hit the plus button there. I would upload file. I would go browse, and it will take me right in here. I could just go to my iCloud Drive, go to GarageBand, go to completed, go to that 1% folder and grab that zip file. I won't do it because it's already there. But if I tap that, it's going to upload it directly to Google Drive, and then you'll have it in two places. Then, once it's in Google Drive or Dropbox or OneDrive or whatever platform you like to use, and on an external drive, now you're good because you got two different places where it's stored. If you can only store it one place, what's better, an external drive or a cloud storage? It's debatable, but I would almost always say cloud storage. Cloud storage is on servers that are very well maintained, that are backed up, that you're very unlikely to lose things. I've lost things from cloud servers a couple of times. It's always been my fault. There's not, and again, touch wood, but there's not been a single case where I had something uploaded to, say, iCloud Drive or OneDrive or Google Drive, and it's actually gone away without my intervention. So if you want to keep your data safe, the cloud's pretty good. The only problem is the amount of data you get on those cloud storage is usually pretty minimal, unless you pay. So I pay for iCloud Drive storage. I don't pay for Google Drives, which is why you would have seen there my Google Drive was 91% full. So it's pretty chockers. So I don't pay for that. So I don't get as much storage. But if you spread things around, there's things like Box, there's OneDrive, there's Mega, there's iCloud Drive. You can find enough storage to put your stuff somewhere. And again, by zipping it up and making sure that you have that final version of your project zipped and stored, you'll be totally fine. And again, you can also use your external drives. You don't have to just use flash drives, by the way. You can use hard drives, either spinning drives, which are less reliable, or SSD storage drives, which are more reliable. But again, keep in mind, if you have one copy of it, that's not a backup. That then becomes the original. So be careful when you're backing up. Hello, Fat Panda Cat. Google Drive's good, not perfect, but you get most free. Yeah, it's definitely a fairly high amount of free storage that you get with Google. I can't remember how much it is. It might be 10 gigabytes, something like that. It's a fair chunk. Yep, exactly. It's spread across multiple servers, and that's the other thing. They have multiple servers available, so it's never in just one place. So it's not like if there's a big server farm fire in California that your data goes away because it's always backed up across multiple servers. So that's a good thing. Hello, 13Scribbles. Hey, it was you that asked about zipping. No worries. I'm going to put the zip files on Audio Share and then onto an external drive. Yeah, that's the other thing that you can do. You can actually send these to Audio Share. So if you use Audio Share, where are we? Over here. So if you are familiar with Audio Share, you can actually copy and put things that aren't audio in the Audio Share file. So for instance, if we tap here and do we still have it copied? No, we don't. So let's just, for Les, for what he was planning to do, if we come in here, if we do the same thing, where am I? Why am I in the wrong spot? No, it's just loading. It's getting a little slow. That's weird. Oh, there we go. I don't know what it was doing loading there. All right, so if we come in here and we've got this zip file, the other thing we can do is copy it over to audio share. So in this case, we can just grab this smaller one. Oh, it's harder with the keyboard, and drag it over and drop it into audio share. And there you go. It puts the zip file into audio share. And then, well, yeah, you can tap it like I just did and it will open it up. And there you go. There's the actual files. But with the zip file here in audio share, you can actually use a very cool function of audio share, which is the file share feature. This is especially great if you use a PC, because if you use a Mac, as you probably know, you can transfer using AirDrop. So you can just AirDrop zip files or entire folders directly from your iPad to, say, your Mac or your PC. But if, say, you want to store these on the drive of your Windows PC, if they're here in audio share, then all you need to do is enable this one here, which is the Wi-Fi drive. So you add that one there. It gives you this address, which is a local address on your network, and then you can actually go to that. In fact, let's show you that now. I don't really need to use it because I'm on a Mac here, but let's just say you wanted this. I used to use this all the time when I was a PC guy. So we're there on that one. If we come over here, check this out. There is an absolute replica of everything that's on my audio share. And I could add to this, and I could also download it, and I can delete it as well. So if you want to download, say, a file directly from here, let's just go a small file. We can hit the download. Oh, well, let's move. That's not download. This is the download over here. So we can download it by just tapping that one, and you can see there it downloads it directly in your browser. And then you can put it anywhere you like on your hard drive. You can back it up. You can do whatever you like. So it's a super duper handy way to make sure that you have all of your stuff available wherever you go. If you're after a sort of RAR or zip app that's totally free, there you go. So there's Unarchiver. Unarchiver is a gem. Very cool. So yeah, if you're getting things in RAR files, which is another type of, so RAR is just basically like a zip file, but zip had its problems for a while there. It was proprietary, and yeah, so they developed RAR. And look, is RAR usually used in certain places where you might be downloading things that aren't 100% above board? Yeah, a little bit. So let's just say that back in the day, you downloaded some movies or some audio or something from particular websites. Yeah, they might be .rar, and iOS, iPad, and iPhone don't support .rar files natively. So it looks like if you want to use them, Unarchiver is your go. Alrighty, you have that on the Mac. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, I don't know. I haven't used RAR files in forever because I'm a good boy. No, because everything I do is just zip these days. So I haven't needed it. But if you do, there you go. Unarchiver. Who knew? Jade Star, apparently. Guess what, folks? We're going to finish up the show there because we're going to have a quick one. Like I said, my internet may go out at any moment. So we've got through all the news and notes. We've answered the questions, and I wanted to cover that particular topic for Les and for many others, because I'm sure it's not just Les. I'm sure there's many others who have the same question about that. So I'm going to let you get over, because Mr. Frank Terzo, let's do a live look into Frank Terzo. Who's he got on there? Featured artist is Tony Howie. He's got Synthworks as a co-host, and Colourful Energy is the featured channel, someone that we know around here. We've featured Colourful Energy plenty of times on Your Music Live. So you can get yourself over there. There it is. There's the show happening right now over on Frank Terzo's channel. So off you go. You can go and check it out. That is the Community Pulse show with Frank Terzo. You'll be sent there right now if you're watching live, or you can catch that on the replay too. If you are watching this one on replay and you do have any questions, or you do have anything that you would like to ask or comment on, drop those comments in the comment section down below. While you're there, if you'd like to hit the thumbs up button, that helps me out. That helps the robots tell the other robots to come and find the show. And until next time, folks, be kind to yourselves, be kind to others. Keep creating. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.